everybody, this is Perch, and this is why I think the DC character Naomi is a very equivalent to the WCW character Goldberg. Okay, so let me explain my premise here. Um, I wish I had a book out to hawk. I always feel like this is the moment. I get the first sentence out, and then I'm like, but before I do that, you need to go buy this and this and this. You should go do all that. I got nothing to hawk. I feel naked here without anything to shill. Well, okay. So what is this deal with Naomi and Goldberg? So Naomi is a character at DC created by Brian Michael Bendis when he first came into the company, and Naomi was, at least a few people drew an analogy to this is Brian Michael Bendis trying to create a Miles Morales like character at DC. And they're saying that for a few reasons. Yes, both characters are black, but and Miles is mixed race technically, but it was a younger character, so a new generation, a character for a new generation was part of it. At times power set that seemed a little bit undefined, but also superior in some ways to the original. So Miles has Peter Parker's powers, but also a few more powers beyond that. And so that was kind of the comparison people drew. And it didn't help that, Naomi was written using kind of Bendis dialogue, Bendis speak. So a lot of, Joss Whedon light kind of, ways of explaining the origin and everything else. And the character, it wasn't that it was unpopular. Naomi was fine. It sold, on the lower middle rung of DC's books. The trade paperbacks were not special in terms of they didn't pop. It wasn't like a Devil Dinosaur Moon Girl situation where there was just this explosion of trades, or first volume of Miss Marvel or first volume of Squirrel Girl did very, very well in trades. As far as I could tell, and I had numbers at one point, the digital numbers weren't blowing it away either. So this is kind of just as a lower tier DC book, new character, like a lot of DC characters. Remember, we had just gone through the Heroes of Tomorrow, or what was it, the New Age of Heroes? I forget what DC was calling it. We'd just gone through that. And, none of those really lasted, and they all kind of petered out. So it really was the same as a lot of those. The differences to Naomi was that DC and Bendis and others were absolutely obsessed with telling everyone that would listen that this was the smash, breakout, most popular. You've never seen a book this popular before. This title is a huge hit. And then Naomi gets canceled, and kind of it shuts up for a while. But then Naomi shows up in Superman, which Bendis was writing, and again the hype train immediately began. Like the shock breakout, most popular character of 2020 or whatever it was, 2019, Naomi is showing up in Superman, almost like the character was doing Superman a favor. It's like Superman's poor lagging sales are going to get a boost from Naomi, the most popular character that had ever been created in all comics. That's the feel that the marketing was going for. It was hype, and it was ridiculous hype. It was hype that nobody believed, didn't make any sense, didn't match anything anyone was seeing at the time, and ultimately, I think was to the detriment of the character, which is where the Goldberg comparison is going to come in. But real quick before we get there, one last piece. So now Naomi is showing up in Justice League, or she's got to be part of the team. Bendis, again, common thread. It's his character, so he's wanting to keep that character alive. It's his kind of crown jewel, and so he has Naomi join the Justice League, and he devotes several issues to Naomi coming into the Justice League. Naomi, doing things in Justice League. This comic is really Naomi guest starring the Justice League to a large extent. There's been some subplots with Black Adam. They've done some things with Justice League Dark. There's been other things. So it's slightly unfair to call it that. But Naomi gets a lot of screen time. And again, if the character is written well, or the character is as popular as is suggested, then, nothing wrong with that. Wolverine dominated the X-Men for big periods of its life. Why? Because Wolverine was very popular. Marvel was not stupid. They knew that was a good thing to do. But Naomi wasn't popular. Not in that way. Not even close. And so in the most recent issue of Justice League, Naomi gets a massive power upgrade. Basically, it taps into magic. And so immediately you get articles written, Screen Rant and others, saying Naomi is the most powerful character in the DC universe. Absolutely the most powerful, stronger than anyone else in the Justice League. Naomi, it was just revealed that Naomi is actually the strongest character in all of DC. So what's that familiar to? Well, that's a little bit like the same marketing they use for Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is the most powerful superhero in the history of all the heroes. It's weird because I clicked on most powerful hero at Marvel, and I found dozens of Screen Rant articles, all kind of going through. I kid you not, characters that are the most powerful in the Marvel universe: Amadeus Cho, Hercules, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. Uh, it was, what are we even going? Moon Girl was in there. These articles are nonsense. I mean, look, what's the common thread? Well, they're all newer characters. They're all ones that, you could make you could do a lot of common threads there. But the most core one here is none of them have earned the position yet. They're all new. They haven't had the moment to be the most powerful. You can call them the most popular, the most powerful if you want. They're not the most popular. That most people don't even know these characters exist. And that gets to the Goldberg situation. So Goldberg was a character that came out sort of toward the end of the Eric Bischoff run of WCW. The NWO had come out, it was very popular, and they get this wrestler, and they decide, let's have this wrestler basically mow down a bunch of jobbers for a while, and then let's start counting his winning streak. And they, oh my God, this character defeats everyone. This character is the most, Goldberg is the most powerful, most accomplished wrestler in all of WCW, is what was going on, is what was being said. Now, at the time, they've got, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, rest in peace. You've got Hogan doing his thing. You've got Bret Hart that comes into the company. You got, as I recall, Goldberg injured Bret Hart. Pretty much it took away his wrestling career. But this was, despite all of that, despite some big names that have been built up for decades in wrestling, they're like, no, we want to build up this new star, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to say Goldberg is the most popular, the biggest wrestler in the entire company, entire history of wrestling. And he clearly wasn't. Now, there was some people liked him. I mean, they're kind of getting behind him, but they were pumping in cheers when the character would come out. And, anyone with their eyes could see that Goldberg was facing a bunch of, pretty much nobodies, lower card wrestlers. And they would say, that this doesn't ring true. Goldberg is not the most powerful, most popular wrestler. He hasn't wrestled anyone of significance, and his matches are usually really short. He has a very limited moveset. He does like 2 or 3 moves, and that's it. And that's all they got. And so what the comparison to Naomi to me, becomes very apt, because Naomi is a character that might be popular, has a more or less interesting costume, sort of, and it's hard to even say how Naomi is going to do. Naomi has been around for just a blink of time in comics, but the impatience of the publisher, in this case DC, and allowing Bendis to, in some ways, write his own press, whenever he kind of wants to, it's created a very bad situation. The bad situation being, well, we're going to hype this character up long before it's been proven if readers are going to go for it, or if the popularity is going to stick. We are going to just start hyping, and it comes across, unfortunately, as same thing with Goldberg, the company telling you what to like, the company telling you, like, I know, don't believe your eyes. This character is the most popular. You've never heard of her before? It doesn't matter. This character is the one that everybody loves. You've been reading DC Comics for, 5 decades? Well, this character is more powerful than any of them. Yes, this character you've never heard of that we're telling you is the most popular, most powerful, it's this one. It's her. Now, if you built her up over 10 years and you didn't do that hype, if you just chilled a little bit with it, you might get a character that would be super powerful, super popular. But it's almost guaranteed to make the character into a joke this way. To a large extent, that's what happened with Goldberg. Goldberg, was popular, but Goldberg, pretty proven, didn't sell big tickets. People wanted to show up, see Kevin Nash, see, Ric Flair, see Hulk Hogan, see those characters. That's who they wanted to see. The people who were really into wrestling wanted to see Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit. That's Dean Malenko. That's who they wanted to see. Goldberg was an interesting attraction, but was hyped so aggressively, so over the top, that it just tipped over. Now Goldberg's come back a few times and wrestled some more or less exhibition matches in the WWE, but he's not a massive draw. He's not a huge success, and you just wonder if they would have chilled with the entire hype train, if this character might have gone over, might have been more powerful, might have been more popular. Now he had some issues. Again, he didn't have a lot of range in his moves. His microphone work was always pretty poor. But visually, this guy'd come out of like the smoke, and they'd have sparks raining down on him. It was an impressive visual. But it kind of ended there, and for a lot of people, it ended there. And that's the challenge that Goldberg went through. Anyway, I'd like to see characters in comics get over, be powerful, be popular, everything else. This isn't the way to do it. And I don't know how many times we have to relive the same lesson over and over and over before people figure out this isn't the way you build up a character for success. But what do I know? Anyway, thank you for that little trip down memory lane, and thanks for listening.